Is there like a drink on the top of your head that you would make? Because I know in Indian culture, we'll make like a turmeric milk to relieve any type of symptoms that we're having.
Yeah, I mean that would be the first one I would think of. It's pretty accessible and easy for
It
people,
is.
and so like um, I think making it with either dairy or coconut milk, depending on if you can tolerate dairy. I like to make it with. I use turmeric and pepper, and then I use evaporated milk or condensed milk. My kid, if I want to give it to him, I'll make it in condensed milk because it's so sweet, and he'll take it that way.
Do you have anything for nausea?
Yeah, the two probably biggest go tos most of the time and the safest go tos are mint and ginger. When we use ginger, though, we always use raw ginger for that. Dry ginger is actually sometimes a little too spicy, a little too warm. We usually will use raw ginger. So you take a knob of it, maybe about an inch, and you grate it into a mug, and then pour boiling water on it. And then when it cools off enough that you can drink it, you just drink that tea. And that works really well for nausea. People who don't like that spiciness, we also use mint as well. Those are the two biggest easy go tos.
Is there anything particular that you found with one of your clients that has been very effective, just depending on what they had?
In the last few years with the virus of unnamed origin that we dealt with, I was really amazed at how well some really simple herbal formulas helped with that. I think when we got past the fear of what that was and just treated it like you would, colds and flus, it actually responded really well, and it responded really well to pretty mild treatments. I've had to use way more aggressive things for the flu than I did for that. I think, sometimes there's a tendency to feel like we need to use like bigger and stronger and more powerful and, what would be considered like a more complicated and whatever else formulas for things. But a lot of times you can get away with super, super simple things. Like I mentioned, the ginger in the person the cinnamon when somebody's just barely catching a cold. Like really simple things can sometimes be all you need. You just need to just put the right push on something. If it's too simple, it's not going to work. We need something that's more high tech or more sciency or something. We live in a time when the religion of the West is science. Whenever you talk to people about something, they'll always well, research said, a study said. Maybe if you say, well, my friend had this and did that, it worked great for them, they might be like, But then if you said the study said, then they're like, oh, really? Like it's the religion and right now, and the tendency then is to make things really complicated. But I think getting back to like grandma remedies and stuff, there's a lot of wisdom in old things. And science doesn't know everything. We can't understand everything, so that doesn't make it not effective. Here's an example. Like in 2000, I was doing a stint at this university hospital in Nanjing, and there was a doctor there who had a formula that he used to induce labor, and it was really effective. He would put together a bunch of raw herbs, and they would cook it and give it to the woman to drink to get labor started, and it worked so well. The hospital was like, well, we want to make this into a pill and be able to just sell it and make it really easily, but we need to do some studies on it to isolate it down. And so they were doing rabbit studies, and they were making this stuff and doing injections, and they could never get it to work on these rabbits, so they just gave up on it. That it just was a fluke. They kind of neglected the fact that it was created by a human for a human, who was pregnant at a certain point in time. It wasn't made for a rabbit who's being cut open, and it all, like, we have to remember these things have a certain thing that make them work, and we may not be able to understand them in that regard.
I really enjoyed you coming on and sharing your insights and your wisdom. Where can we find you?
Yeah, so for the Chinese medicine side of my reality, you can find me at mountainwestwellness.com. That's the website for my clinic. And my clinic, we do inpatient visits. We also do virtual visits. So I have patients all over the world that I work with virtually. And then as far as Daoism goes, Daoism, I run an organization called Parting Clouds Taoist Education with my Taoist brother, Josh Painter. We founded this organization together as a way to share Taoist education with Westerners. And we have people all over the world that are students of ours. In fact, we just came back from China doing a visit to, on a big pilgrimage to the birth site of Lao Tzu, and a meeting with the World Federation of Taoists, which is an organization for foreign Taoists that's sponsored by the Chinese Taoist Association in China. And so we run this organization called Parting Clouds Taoist Education, and you could find us there at partingcloudstaoisteducation.com as well. And we do virtual teaching there. So,
Well, thank you, Jack, so much for coming on the show. It's been incredible. I've learned so much.
thanks for having me.
Hey guys, I would like to take a moment to introduce you to our app, Yoga Plus. You will have access to an incredible selection of videos led by top instructors in yoga, fitness, nutrition, and so much more. Download our Yoga Plus app, available on iOS and Android today.